Namaste everyone, welcome to YCB Level 1 200 Hours Yoga Teachers Training with Ayushman Yog. My name is Nidhi and I'm going to be your companion in this journey. Let's begin. Right, so Introduction to Yoga and Yogic Practices, Unit 1. And today's topic is Etymology of the word Yoga, Definitions, Aims, Objectives and Misconceptions. Let's look at all these one by one. So, etymology. Etymology is the study and understanding of the origin of the word, the source of the word, right? In Hindi, it is called as Vyutpatti Shastra. So, when we say etymology of the word yoga, we are trying to understand where the word originated from, right? What is the Sanskrit root of the word yoga? So, the word yoga comes from the Sanskrit root yuj, which means to join, to yoke or to harness. And based on this understanding, the common meaning of yoga is understood as the union. However, that is not the only meaning of the word yoga when we use the root yuj. There are two more meanings which come. First is yuj samadhau, which means to integrate. Then yuj sanyamane, which means to restrain. And then yuj samyoga, which we already discussed, to unite. Right? Now when we say the union, then the question comes, union of what? Right? So the answer to this is union of the individual self with the supreme self. One more thing which we should understand about yoga is that yoga is referred as the sadhya as well as the sadhana. Right? Sadhya means the end objective, the said union. And sadhana means the ways to attain that end objective, the ways to reach to that end objective or sadhya. Right? So yoga is sadhya as well as sadhana. Now let's look at the definitions of yoga. So different teachers have given different definitions of yoga as per their perspectives, as per their understanding of yoga, right? For example, Sage Patanjali defines yoga as Chitta Vritti Nirodha, right? Before we discuss this definition further, let's talk about Sage Patanjali a little. And let me tell you a small legend about his birth. So Sage Patanjali is referred as father of yoga. So understand guys that the yogic knowledge goes all the way back to Vedas. And we are talking about the written records here. The first written reference of yoga is found in Vedas, which means that the yogic knowledge have definitely existed before the Vedas were written. Right? Because the knowledge would always exist in the verbal form first and then the written form comes. Right? So the yogic knowledge was prevalent during the pre-Vedic period before the Vedas were written as well. Now Sage Patanjali was the first one to structure this scattered knowledge and he presented this knowledge in form of a book which is referred as Patanjali Yoga Sutra, right? There are 195 or some says there are 196 sutras in this book. The difference is of one sutra which some commentators said to have more like a repetitive meaning. So 195 or 196 both are correct. Now sutra is a one-line sentence, right? Which is complete in itself but it is still connected to the other sutras. Right? So this book contains 195 sutras, one-line sentences. And this was the first structured representation of the yogic knowledge. Now, don't get confused with Adi Yogi and father of yoga. Right? Adi Yogi is the first yogi, Lord Shiva. He is the one who gave this knowledge to Saptarishis and Saptarishis then spread this knowledge across the world. Now the story time. So my teachers told me this story about how Sage Patanjali was born. So once it happened that Lord Shiva was doing his Tandava Nritya. and the dance was so exquisite that Lord Vishnu, who was lying on Sheshnag, started to vibrate to the rhythm of that nritya. And Lord Vishnu gets so absorbed in the rhythm that Sheshnag starts to feel the discomfort as Lord Vishnu keeps moving. Then when the Tandava ends, Lord Vishnu comes back to his senses. He realizes the discomfort he caused to Sheshnag. Sheshnag asks him, what happened? Lord Vishnu then explains to him about Adi Yogi, Tandava Nritya, Yoga, etc. Sheshnag becomes so overwhelmed that he wants to learn all that knowledge now. So he asks a boon from Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu says that soon enough he will take birth on earth and will get opportunities to learn all this and more. Sheshnag gets very excited and he starts to meditate to know who is going to be his mother. Now on earth there was an ardent yogini named Gunika. She's a brahmacharini and she wanted to give all of her knowledge to someone but could not find the right disciple. Once she was praying after taking bath in the river for a child, and as soon as she opened her eyes, she saw a small baby snake in her palms which were folded in Anjali Mudra. To her surprise, that baby snake quickly transformed into a human baby. Gunika takes this as a sign from the Supreme and takes the child as her son and uses the incident to name him. Pat means fallen. Anjali means the way her palms were folded, Anjali Mudra. Hence, he was named Patanjali, meaning fallen into the palms. Interesting, isn't it? Beautiful. Now coming back to the definition of yoga given by sage Patanjali. So he says, Yoga Chit Vritti Nirodha. Yoga, Chit. Chit means mind stuff. Vritti means fluctuation. Nirodha means to end or to cease or to control. So to put together, yoga is to end the fluctuation of mind. Right? Now there are some more beautiful definitions of yoga given in Bhagavad Gita, such as Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddh asiddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yog uchyate. Yogastha kuru karmani. Yogastha being steadfast. Kuru means perform. Karmani means action. Sangam attachment. Tyaktva get rid of. Dhananjay, Arjun. So Shri Krishna addresses Arjun as Dhananjay and says that Arjun, be steadfast in yoga and then perform your action. Sangam tyaktva, get rid of the attachment. Siddh asiddhyo samo bhutva. Siddh means success. Asiddhyo means failure. Samo bhutva, consider them sama, equal. Right? Samatvam yog uchyate. Samatvam means being equanimous. Such equanimity is called yoga. Another definition of yoga in Bhagavad Gita is buddhi yukto jahatiha ubhe sukrat dushkrite tasmad yogaya yujyasva yogah karmasu kaushalam. So buddhi yukto jahatiha. Buddhi yukta means endowed with wisdom. Jahatiha, get rid of. Ubhe sukrit dushkrite. Ubhe means both. Sukrit, good deeds. Dushkrit, bad deeds. Right? Be endowed with wisdom. Get rid of both good deeds and bad deeds. The attachment towards good deeds and bad deeds, get rid of both, Shri Krishna says. Tasmad yogaya yujyasva. Strive for yoga because yogaha karmashu kaushalam. Skill in action is yoga. One more definition of yoga in Bhagavad Gita is about moderation. Moderation of everything. Yuktahar viharasya. Yukta cheshtasya karmasu. Yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. So this shloka talks about moderation. Yukta means moderation. So Shri Krishna says, Yukta ahar viharasya. The one who is yukta, moderate in ahar, eating, vihar, recreational activities. Yukta cheshtasya karmashu, one who is balanced in work. Yukta swapnavabodhasya, regulated in sleep. Yogo bhavati dukkha, that person can mitigate all sorrows by practice of yoga. So to revise, as per Patanjali Yoga Sutra, the definition of yoga is yogash chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is the end of fluctuation of mind. As per Bhagavad Gita, samatvam yoga uchyate. Being equanimous is yoga. Yoga karmashu kaushalam. Skill in action is yoga. Yogo bhavati dukkha. Yoga can mitigate all sorrows. Now the aims and objectives of yoga. So as per the traditional meaning, the eventual objective of yoga is to achieve the union of individual self with the supreme self, otherwise known as samadhi avastha. Right? In Ashtanga yoga, the 8th limb is samadhi. In Hatha yoga, the objective is to reach the Raja yoga, which is another name for samadhi. However, looking at it from the today's perspective, even when somebody does not want to take the complete path of achieving samadhi, yoga can still do wonders to one's health. Yoga can take care of one's physical health, social health, mental health, as well as spiritual health. We are going to study all of these aspects of yogic science in the coming chapters. Now the misconception. So misconceptions happens because of the lack of awareness. So as yoga teachers, it is our responsibility to educate the practitioners about the true nature of yoga, about the true essence of yoga, right? And we can only do that once we know it well. So study well. Right? Now, when it comes to misconceptions, I'm sure you guys have also heard about some. So make a note of that as well. But some of the common misconceptions can be, for example, yoga is a very low intensity exercise. Yoga is not suitable for pregnant women. You have to be in a certain shape, or you have to be flexible before you can perform yoga. Yoga is a religion, and many others. Right? So as I said, it is a very practical topic. So you can make a note of what you think, what you have heard, which you think are misconceptions about yoga. So this covers our today's topic, the definition, aims and objective, and misconceptions about yoga. Now, before we end our today's lecture, I would like to emphasize on the importance of self-practice. Right? Guys, it is very important that you build the self-discipline from day one. Right? Remember, a good yoga teacher is a practitioner for life. So your self-practice is going to play a very important role on how successful yoga teacher you're going to be. Right? So there are practice video given in this course. You can use them, or you can start building your own discipline, or whenever there are classes going on, you can join those classes. Whatever suits you, whatever is suitable as per your schedule, figure out a fixed time and stick to that time, but make it a point that you practice every day. Alright? Once you will become the self-disciplined person, only then you will be able to inculcate this in your practitioners. Try experiencing this yourself. On this note, I'll be leaving you with the studies and your practice. Go through the study material, take the quiz, and I will see you in the next lecture.